Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The USC commitment sweatshirt comes back on. Four-star offensive tackle Aaron Dunn making it official, committing to USC late Friday night. The USC fans who've been rocking with the fellas for a while know this is one of my favorite offensive tackle prospects in the 2025 cycle. You look at Aaron Dunn and say, 6'7.5", 290. It is so hard to find offensive tackle prospects with that build and that length that have the required athleticism to play at a very high level in the Big Ten. And I think Aaron Dunn's one of those guys. I think one of the big storylines is Aaron Dunn is a phenomenal basketball player on the hardwood, 17 points per game, 6 rebounds. You see the footwork that you need to have to be good at basketball show up on the football field for Aaron Dunn. And at the end of the day, it's so hard to find offensive tackles with this kind of size and length, but also that kind of coordination in footwork and athleticism. And I think Aaron Dunn's one of those few and rare offensive tackles that have that. And I think at the end of the day, these type of guys and these type of bodies, they don't grow on trees. And so the more that you can get these kind of bodies on your roster, the better off you're going to be at the offensive tackle spot. I got to give Josh Henson a ton of credit here. This was a guy that was wanted by a lot of different schools. Obviously, was committed to Utah. Oregon really liked him as well. I've been very critical of Josh Henson and recruiting the offensive tackle spot. Now, I still want to see him continue to recruit the offensive tackle spot. This is a very nice win because this is a guy that one checks all the boxes that you want. I think more importantly, uh, there's some real upside here, and this guy can be an all-conference offensive tackle over the next couple of years. Now, I'm going to get into a little bit of the film of Aaron Dunn. Now, before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys, to the USC fans. Y'all know it's been a blast talking this program. I'm sorry I couldn't do this commitment late last night, so we're doing it Saturday morning. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into this one now. You start with Aaron Dunn. Is he a year one guy for USC? We kind of talked about this yesterday. I personally don't think so. I think he needs a year to get some more weight on, kind of get that grown man strength, so to speak, before he is a starter at the Big Ten level. But if you can get this kid up to 6'8", not 6'8", 6'7.5", whatever he's going to end up being, he's going to be one of the tallest football players on the field. If you can get him up to 320 pounds with that frame and maintain the athleticism, I think you're looking at a super high ceiling offensive tackle prospect. And you look at Aaron Dunn and say, really, really good athlete, even on the football field now. I think the one thing you're looking more from as we get into the film, you guys will kind of see this is you want to see a little bit more physicality in his game, which kind of makes sense, right? At 6'7.5", 290, he's not necessarily the most filled out frame as a senior in high school. And so you get this kid on campus, you get him up to 320, you get some of those numbers in the weight room where they need to be. You kind of get a little bit more of that thicker lower half and power. I think Aaron Dunn can be a really, really good offensive tackle. And that's probably the only thing you want to see develop in his game is just fill out the frame, get a little bit stronger of an anchor. Let's get a little bit stronger in terms of moving people in the run blocking department. If you do that and you maintain the athleticism, like this kid is a super, super exciting prospect. And you take a look at the film, and again, I think what you want to really focus on is the athleticism. Now, plays right tackle at the high school level. Again, I mean, for 6'8", 300 pounds, how this kid gets out in space playing that right tackle spot, it's impressive. And then you see the footwork. Like, I think the footwork is really impressive for someone who is, 6'7.5", 290 pounds. And so you look at Aaron Dunn and say, yeah, there's a lot to like about Aaron Dunn because he's a little bit taller. I think he needs to get a little bit of a thicker lower half in terms of making sure he has a good anchor. Because when you're tall, you don't have the best center of gravity, and sometimes defensive linemen can kind of get under you a little bit and go through you. But this is hard. It's really hard to find 6'8" that moves like this. I mean, we're just betting on that all day. And again, I think he has all the traits to be a really, really high end offensive tackle prospect. Yeah, this is kind of what I mean in terms of maybe filling that out a little bit more. A little bit of a catcher as opposed to a striker. And if we can get him a little bit stronger, and again, he's putting the guy in the dirt. Yeah, I think that's kind of where he takes the next step. But if you're USC, like this was really the one position that I felt like was missing for USC on the recruiting trail. Like we know Lincoln Riley's going to recruit quarterbacks. We know they're going to recruit wide receivers. We know they're going to recruit defensive linemen with Coach Henney here. And I think the one position that you just felt like was lacking on the recruiting trail and, kind of showed up in the 2024 season in terms of the lack of talent and development was the offensive tackle spot. You continue to stack kids like Aaron Dunn in your classes, the tackle position is going to get better. We'll close it out there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.